Sonora, Mexico, 3:47 in the morning. Your sister is on a ventilator in a hospital in Hermosillo. The bill is 412,000 pesos. You have a commercial pilot's license, a logbook with 600 hours, and $11 in your account. A man named Ruben is sitting across from you at a roadside table. He slides a phone number on a folded napkin. He says, you don't have to call it. But your sister stops breathing if you don't. Level 1, Tierra Runner. You are 23. You don't fly yet. Not even close. Before they trust you with a cockpit, they trust you with a bag. You move parcels between safe houses in Culiacan and Navajoa. Groundwork, test work, watch work. You learn the checkpoints on Highway 15 by memory. You learn which federals take cash and which ones take photos. You learn that silence in a car is not awkward. It's operational. You carry a phone that isn't yours with a number you never dial out from. If you are stopped, you know nothing. You were offered a ride. You accept it. If the bag is found, it belongs to whoever is closest. If you talk, the hospital bill becomes the least of your family's problems. You pass 3 ground runs without incident. Then you pass a 4th. And on the 5th run, the truck ahead of you gets pulled over, and you watch a man you recognize get walked to a patrol car in flex cuffs. And you keep driving at exactly the speed limit, and you feel something leave your body that does not come back. They tell you afterward, that was the test. There was nothing in that truck. They just needed to see your face stay still. It stays still. And the next morning, someone hands you a set of aircraft keys. Level 2, Pista Scout. You are 24. You are now pre-flight intelligence. Your job is to identify and vet clandestine airstrips across Sonora, Chihuahua, and Sinaloa. You drive dirt roads in a white pickup with agricultural plates. You measure runway lengths with a rolling odometer. You photograph surface conditions, tree lines, fence proximity, and wind direction markers. You know which ranches have dogs, which have workers, which have nothing and belong to nobody on paper. A usable strip needs at minimum 800 meters of flat surface, no power lines within the final approach corridor, and at least one vehicle access point that connects to a paved road within 3 kilometers. You file reports in a numbered code system. No names. No GPS coordinates in writing. You memorize coordinates or draw hand-marked maps on paper that burns. You carry a legitimate agricultural survey permit. You have a story about soil testing. The permit is real. A man in the land registry office made it real. 3 scouts before you disappeared. You were told they got lazy with their phones. You use your phone only for calls, never data, never maps. You keep a second phone, clean, registered to a dead man's name, for everything else. You scout 11 strips in 4 months. 2 of them are used the week after you clear them. You never see the flights. You just see the fuel receipts that confirm they happened. The man who gave you the napkin tells you, you have a good eye? Then he asks you if you want to see what you've been setting up. Level 3, Sombra Co-Pilot. You are 25. You fly for the first time inside the operation. You are not the pilot in command. You sit right seat. The man flying is named Aurelio. He is 41. He speaks in single words. The aircraft is a modified Cessna 210. The seats behind you have been removed. In their place, bales wrapped in black plastic, taped tight, stacked to the ceiling. The weight is pre-calculated. The fuel load is pre-calculated. You are told your job is to watch the instruments and keep your mouth shut unless something is on fire. You depart from a strip outside Alter at 11:20 p.m. You fly at low altitude, below radar coverage, below 500 feet over flat desert. You cross into Sonoran airspace near Sonoita and drop to 200 feet over the terrain. The aircraft does not have its transponder active. It does not have its navigation lights on. Aurelio flies by terrain reference and a handheld GPS unit with preloaded waypoints. You land on a strip in Arizona that is graded caliche. 3 vehicles are waiting with their headlights off. You are on the ground for 11 minutes. You fly back empty. You are in the air a total of 4 hours and 14 minutes. You are handed an envelope with $8,000 in it. Your sister breathes for another month. You tell yourself this is the last time. Aurelio looks at you when you say it. He doesn't respond. He's heard it before. And 3 weeks later, his name stops appearing in the rotation, and no one explains why, and you are handed his logbook. Level 4, Piloto Fantasma. You are 26. You fly alone now. No co-pilot. No senior man beside you. Just you, the aircraft, and whatever is loaded in the back. Your first solo run is a Piper Seneca out of a strip near Guasave. The load is 460 kilograms. They tell you it is agricultural chemicals. It is not agricultural chemicals. You fly a pre-assigned route, 9 waypoints, each memorized, no paper. You maintain radio silence except for 2 prearranged voice checks with a ground contact who uses weather code phrases. Cloudy in the north means the landing strip is clear. Rain expected means abort and hold at the secondary waypoint for 30 minutes. You receive cloudy in the north. You land in Chihuahua. You are in and out in 8 minutes. The return route is different from the outbound. Always different. You learn to land on dirt in darkness using only low-powered flashlights held by men on the ground. You learn how to kill an engine at 300 meters on final approach, so the aircraft makes less noise. You learn to be invisible from the ground, invisible from the radar, invisible from memory. You run this route 9 times over 4 months. On the 9th run, an ultralight surveillance drone appears off your left wing at 200 feet. It is not military. You don't know who it belongs to. You land anyway. Nobody speaks of it. But the route changes the next week, and you are moved to international work. You are not asked if you want to go. You are told when to show up. Level 5, Corredor de Ruta. You are 28. You are now crossing international corridors. Not just the northern border. Guatemala, Honduras, the Pacific approach into Ecuador. You fly different aircraft depending on the load and the route. Beechcraft King Airs, a Turbo Commander, a former air ambulance with the medical markings still faintly visible under repainted white. The aircraft documentation is real. Tail numbers registered to shell companies in Belize and Panama. Maintenance logs are forged but look authentic to any inspector who doesn't look closely. You carry a legitimate charter pilot's license and a stack of passenger manifests naming clients who don't exist. You learn the inspection schedules at secondary airports. You know which airports don't have drug detection dogs on Tuesdays. You know which customs officials have been pre-cleared by someone higher than you. A contact in Tegucigalpa coordinates fuel stops. You never meet him in person. Everything is through a relay. You are paid by wire transfer to an account in Panama that routes through 2 intermediary accounts before arriving as a cash deposit in a holding account in Culiacan that someone else manages. You never touch the money directly until it is clean. On a flight from Colombia into a coastal strip near Guayaquil, the DEA intercepts your radio frequency and broadcasts a warning to all aircraft in the corridor. You are 6 minutes from landing. You land anyway. The strip is cleared in under 10 minutes. Later, you learn 3 other pilots in the same operation were not as lucky that week. You do not ask what happened to them. You understand now that information is the most dangerous cargo there is, and someone above you has decided you are ready to carry more of it. Level 6, Piloto de Confianza. You are 31. You are now a named asset. Not anonymous labor anymore. A specific man with specific value. You coordinate logistics for multiple pilots beneath you. You vet routes. You sign off on strip conditions. You are the chain of authority between the ground crews and the aircraft. You now know quantities. Full quantities. 800 kilograms on a typical Pacific run. 1,200 on a consolidated Caribbean corridor flight. You know the names of the intermediary contacts in Guatemala City, Managua, and Barranquilla. You know which political figures have been reached at the border level in 2 countries. You don't say any of this aloud. You don't write any of this down. You carry it in your head, and you understand that carrying it is both the promotion and the sentence. A pilot under you, a young man named Tomas, makes a navigational error and lands a full load at the wrong strip in Oaxaca. The strip belongs to a rival group. You spend 72 hours resolving the situation through intermediaries. The load is recovered. Tomas is not. You do not ask. You write the incident report in code. You file it upward. 3 days later, you receive a message that says, "Good handling." That is the entirety of the feedback. You realize you have stopped sleeping more than 4 hours at a time, and that the man who gave you the napkin now calls you directly when things need to disappear quickly. Level 7, Chief de Vuelo. You are 34. You run the air wing. Not just your routes. All routes. 11 active pilots. 32 vetted strips across 5 countries. You manage the aircraft fleet. Procurement, maintenance, documentation, rotation. You have 3 mechanics on retainer, a legal aviation consultant in Mexico City who asks no questions, and a document specialist in Guatemala who can produce certified airworthiness certificates within 48 hours. You coordinate with the financial side to ensure that aircraft purchases are laundered through a legitimate charter company registered in the Yucatan. The company has real clients, real invoices, real tax filings. It also moves between 2 and 4 tons of product per month without a single entry in any official manifest. You attend coordination meetings in private residences in Mazatlan and Guadalajara. You sit 2 chairs from the top of the table. You begin to understand what the men above you are worried about. And what they are worried about is you. Not because you are disloyal, because you know too much to be allowed to leave. And you know too much to be allowed to fail. The DEA and the Mexican Secretaría de la Defensa Nacional have begun a joint operation targeting aerial trafficking corridors in the Northwest. 3 strips you certified are photographed by satellite within a single week. You move the operation.
This route is blocked.
You
We need a
rebuild
new
the
path
route
now.
matrix
Drawing
in
the
11
detour.
days.
Watch for.
But the compression is visible to anyone watching from above. And someone above is always watching. One of your 11 pilots lands in a field in Tamaulipas and is arrested within 6 minutes of touchdown. The speed of that arrest tells you there is a signal somewhere that you did not control. And the only people who knew that flight existed were inside the room where you were sitting. Level 8, Comandante Aéreo. You are 37. There is no one above you in the air division. You have operational authority over the entire aerial infrastructure of the organization's western corridor. You control the budget. You sign off on personnel. You decide which routes are active and which are burned. You have not flown yourself in 14 months. Your hands still know how to, but your value is not in the cockpit anymore. Your value is in your silence and your memory. You live in a house outside Culiacan behind a perimeter that you did not design but understand completely. You have a clean identity in Panama City, a second one in Monterrey, a third one you have never used, reserved for the moment you decide to vanish. You have considered vanishing 4 times in the past year. Each time, you did not. Because you know what happens to men who vanish from this position. They are found, or they are made an example of for the men still inside. Interpol, in coordination with U.S. federal agencies, has now listed aerial trafficking corridors in the Sinaloa and Sonora regions as a primary intelligence priority. 3 pilots you know personally are arrested in a 40-day window. One of them was not arrested. He was found in a vehicle outside Culiacan. You attend no meetings for 2 weeks. You communicate only through relay contacts. And then, on a Thursday in November, at 5:20 in the morning, there are vehicles outside your perimeter. Not 1, not 2, 14. And they are not rivals. The vehicles belong to federal agents. The operation has 17 simultaneous targets across 3 states. You are taken from the house in handcuffs before the sun is fully up. Your legal identity holds for 9 hours. Then someone who knows your real name says it in an interrogation room in Mexico City. The trial takes 2 years. The evidence is architectural. Routes, invoices, coordination records reconstructed from seized phones. Your lawyers
Your
are
Honor,
good.
we must insist
It doesn't
on this
matter.
evidence.
You are sentenced in a courtroom in Mexico City with no windows. The sentence is delivered in under 4 minutes. You entered a cockpit to pay a hospital bill. You exit through a prison gate that closes behind you like the sound of a runway you will never land on again.